Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So we finally made it back from our big haul trip, Abby and I. We had a great time getting away, taking a big long road trip out to the both the Midwest and the Southwest, and got to see a lot of great new places that we've never been to before. A lot of great places in the country, a lot of national parks and national monuments, and just overall we had a really great time. It was a fun adventure. If you guys are interested in any of that content, we have the other YouTube channel called Abom Adventures. You can go over there, check that out. I've got videos over there of the trip, but I've got several more that I still have to edit and get published over on that channel as well. So we are back in the shop now, and at the time for my regular S&S video, I don't have any new content filmed yet and filmed and edited to share. So we're going to go ahead and share one more legacy video. As I had said before, the legacy videos I thought would be a great way to kind of bring back some of that older classic footage that so many of you have enjoyed over the years. Bring it back to the top. And some of you guys probably have not seen some of it because we've got a lot of new subscribers since those videos were released. Not everybody goes back and searches through older content on channels. They usually just wait for the new stuff to come up. So it is some of that more classic footage of the heavier machining that I've been selecting to bring back for the legacy series, things that I know people enjoyed seeing. So this video here involves the Kearns horizontal boring mill and boring out some large gearbox stands that I had fabricated. And then after we had fabricated them and painted them and they were ready to go, we found out that we were given a wrong dimension on the flame cut, the center hole. It was flame cut too small. So I ended up setting it up on the Kearns bore mill and boring it out. And there's quite a bit of usage, me showing you using my large Starrett inside micrometers and Starrett vernier calipers that belong to my dad. So I remember that was something else in the video that I enjoyed sharing with you, was using those inside mics and those vernier calipers to get this job done. So the legacy series is not something that I'm planning on doing all the time, on the regular basis. It's only in my absence. So whenever we decide to take a big trip, we hope to take these trips annually, the big hauls that we call it. So next year, we hope to be able to do the same thing. If everything lines up, we hope to be able to go back to the Southwest and enjoy some more areas. And in that case, I might have some more of those older footage, older videos brought back as a legacy series to share on the channel. So I just wanted people to be aware of that. We've got a lot of mixed feelings out there about that. We have a lot of folks that love them. Some folks don't like them. And the views are obviously down on the legacy series, but it is something that I just want to reshare with some of the audience out there that may not have seen some of these older videos. So if you are new to the channel and you haven't searched, you might want to go back into the video catalog, search way back. I'm talking about, 2015, 16, 17 and on. There's a lot of videos where I was at my previous job where I did a lot of heavy machining, gearbox shafts and hydraulic cylinders, all that kind of stuff. I used the American Pacemaker, the Kearns board mill. I don't have access to those machines anymore, so I'm not making that kind of footage anymore. Another thing that I wanted to remind folks is that back whenever I had left that previous job, the management at the time were putting a complete stop to the videos there. They didn't want any more videos filmed there, put a halt to it, they didn't want it happening. So that's one of the reasons why I decided I wanted to come home and just work for myself, make content here in my own shop. I do have hopes that eventually I can acquire some larger equipment to be able to start doing some of those larger jobs again. Obviously, I don't have room in this little shop here to bring in large equipment. So it is something in the plans, in the hopes and dreams that in the future I can have a larger shop, especially the new shop space that I got that you probably are well aware of. I'm not going to be filling it up with a bunch of old used equipment. I want some new equipment to go into that shop. But when I have my own big shop, hopefully in the future, is kind of what we're hoping for here. I want to start acquiring some of those large machines again. I would like a large lathe, and a nice size board mill is there as well, so that we can go back to some of that type of work that we used to share all the time and do that with you guys. Also, I wanted to mention, back whenever I had come home and doing this full time for myself, I did give a mention that there was going to be an opportunity there for me to possibly buy the Kearns horizontal board mill for my previous employer. And they knew about that. I made them an offer on that. They knew it was there. And then when I was visiting down there earlier in the year and asking them about that, well, I found out that they actually traded that machine off to one of the other branches for some other equipment. So that machine is gone. It is long gone. I will probably never see it again unless I go and see it wherever it's at now. I think it's over in Louisiana. So the Kearns horizontal board mill, a lot of you guys still have that in your mind that maybe that's going to come home. I was really hoping to make a purchase on that, buy it back from them, bring it home, and actually set it out there on the slab outside the front of the shop. But those dreams are now gone because they traded it off for some other equipment, and I had no idea until I went down there and asked them about it. So I thought that would be fitting to mention that, since this video is going to be about the Kearns horizontal board mill. That is one of the machines that I started running very early on. I think it was in, I'm trying to remember, 1998, I believe, is the year that my dad had bought that from a local auction. It was a machine shop that was closed down for many years. They went in, they auctioned it out. The Kearns was a machine that my dad was able to purchase, won the bids for that, and brought it home, and we learned how to use it. And I used it just about my entire career. So I got a lot of time on that machine. It was a really cool old school machine that was universal. You could do a lot of different jobs on it. I even had several jobs set up on that Kearns. We had a chuck, Dad and I, we had this big chuck that wasn't being used, and we made an adapter to where we could bolt that big 4-jaw chuck onto the faceplate of the board mill. And then we had we machined a bushing for a live center that went into the tailstock so that you could actually run it between a chuck and a live center just like you would a lathe. And I took the compound off of that Monarch lathe right there. I built a pedestal for it, bolted that to the table, mounted the compound on top of that, and of course your tool post, and there you have a lathe. That was back whenever I was never filming anything. I don't even think I have very many pictures of those jobs, but just brings back a lot of memories thinking about that. All of the crazy stuff that we have done on that machine that I wish I could have shared on this YouTube channel. If only I had the forethought to have a camera. But camera back in those days, there weren't a lot of people using it except for maybe the little handheld camcorders. But anyway, that's what this video is going to be about, is the Kearns board mill. Hopefully you guys enjoy, and also hopefully next week we will get back to some fresh content. I'll have some fresh projects that I'm going to get started on around here. Some machining. I got one particular project in mind I want to get started on. It's going to involve a bunch of machining and welding, something that I want to build for myself. So that should be coming up pretty soon. So we will see you very soon. You guys remember them stands that I made? Well, look where we got them now. Got them over here on the board mill. So there was some mistakes made in the prints and lost in translation, and the wrong hole was cut because the wrong dimensions were given. So fingers have been pointing. What do? You say, don't worry about it, I got it. Let me fix it up. This is a non-critical hole in this thing. This is only clearance. There is a machined register on the flange that's supposed to just kind of sit down in here. There's no need for it to be cut or machined to fit that close because it's a big unit. This is only used to hold it and transport it. So I've got her set up in the board mill, and I just found the center, and I'm going to actually bore this thing out, I hope. I don't know how rigid it is. This is my setup using the big boy parallels that I got from Jack. I got 4 studs with some big strap clamps holding it down, and it is a real rigid setup with the 1/2-inch wall tubing that I used to build it. So I'm about to get it set up and get a boring bar set up or something and see how it reacts to cutting it. I don't have to take any big cuts on it, but I do need to take about a 1/4 inch out of that hole right there. So I already found the center, sweeping in the middle. Moves around a little bit, but like I said, it's not going to be perfect. I'm going to cut it oversized anyway, so there'll be plenty of clearance for it to fit in there and not have to line up. I found the center initially with my 36-inch rule and a pointer in the chuck there, and I was actually within 30 thousandths of being center of that hole, and then I just swept it in and got it real close with the indicator there. Right now I'm just offsetting the chuck. I'm going to see if it'll offset what I need to get out there to that diameter to do the cut. So I've already got the boring bar holder in there, and I've got another one that'll bolt on here that actually extends it out even further if I need to, but we may have enough travel. You see the arrow over here. There's another arrow right about there that will go to. That's the travel on the facing chuck. I'm going to just swing it on out there and see. I'd like to back this up some where the T-nuts aren't hanging out of the chuck there. All right, Paul's over here showing me how to do it. I think he's finally got me set where I need to go. So let's check it out. There's a nice boring bar holder right there to actually fit around that way. And then that tool will work right there. That'll be a left-handed turning tool that I'll use to come in there and bore this thing out. So that'll be the setup right there. I think we got plenty of travel. Got at the bottom there.
That's cool.
I do have a little bit of tilt. It's tilted back a little on the top. I'm not worried about that because we're just cutting a big clearance hole in this.
Yeah.
Chattering once it gets a full cut on it. Got that? Yep. I'm over on the board mill working on those stands, trying to bore that thing out. So I'm running into some problems, and what I'm running into is what I was kind of expecting was going to happen, is rigidity problems. So there's things that you have to do to try to remove the problems there, and one of them is going to be to try to increase the rigidity by attaching other components to it, you know, an angle plate. I'm probably going to have to bolt one of my big angle plates to the table and then weld a cross piece to it to try to help support the top end. That's where the chatter is, it's like top half of it. All right, but I wanted to try a different insert. I'm using a CNMG 431 right now, my ISCAR inserts, but I wanted to try this. I want to try something that has sort of like that vibration free style to it. And this WNMG right here is a PP chip breaker. It has a really high positive cutting action to it, really great for shearing a chip over and not creating a bunch of tool pressure like a standard negative rake insert does. So I want to try this out, and when I remembered, I don't actually have a left-handed turning tool here at work. And then I remembered I do have one, an extra one, that was given to me by Dennis Nolan over at Seco, the Niagara cutter. This is the one that Dennis Nolan had given to me last year. Brand new, never been used. There's the package that it come in. So we're going to give this insert a try and see if it will improve and maybe do better than what I've got. And I also was wanting to try another DNMG insert. This is one that I got from a viewer as well. So I brought it in, grabbed a couple of different style inserts that I got. This is another one of the inserts that Dennis had given me. It's a TP 2500 grade. And we're going to give it a shot too. I mean, we may give that a shot, but I'm going to try this first and see. And like I said, we may have to do some welding on it to support it. And the other thing that I could try, I was going to mention, I've got this engraver here. I have a lot of people ask me about tools. Why do I bring my own tools? It's something that I do sometimes. You know, I have tools, and they do a pretty good job of replacing tools whenever I need them to. But you know, this is not necessarily being used right now. So I got a couple here. I put my name on my tools that I bring in, and people know that they're mine. I tell my bosses, I show it to them. I say, hey, I brought this in, you know, and then when the time comes, they replace them for me. So I'm gonna put my name on these tools so that they know that they're mine, and all will be right. So what else was I gonna show you is if all else fails, you may be able to go to a high-speed tool bit with a nice sharp grind on it to reduce tool pressure, and that might free up the chatter and the vibration that we're getting in the cut. It's doing a little bit better, but it's still got the chatter problems like I was afraid it was going to. Bottom half is cutting fine. The top half of it is getting chatter in it. I'm going to see if it'll go through that cut without breaking anything, and then I'll probably end up doing some welding on it and try to stiffen it up. Did add this stud and this clamp to it. Still getting plenty of vibration though, so that was my first step to try that. It's helped it, but it's not eliminating it. Still need a lot of support up here on the back side. But it's making a chip. It's just on that top and down. It's like the backlash in the gears is what you're hearing too. I'm going to keep going with it and seeing if the tool holds out, because we just need to get the hole opened up. But I didn't completely remove the chatter from it. It needs a lot more support to completely sustain this big piece sticking up in the air, but I did improve it. So we're gonna roll with what we got. Just taking a little at a time, but I don't have much to come out. I think I already told you I got to take a 1/4 inch out of it, so make a few passes through there. It'll be out in no time. Brought in a couple tools that I could use to measure that bore up there. So this was my dad's right here. I had marked it because I had a couple different sets there at the shop that had acquired, but I wanted to make sure that I knew which one was the original. So this is an inside mic, stereo inside mic that'll go from 2 to 32 inches. Pretty good set. It's nice and compact, don't take up a lot of room. You have two different styles of mics in here. You have this one right here that has the ends that interchange with these bars here, which this is the one I'm going to use right here. And then you have this style, which a lot of people are familiar with. It takes the smaller rods. I believe, I didn't even look, we've got a Michitoya inside mic here, but I don't think it goes up to 27 inches, so that's why I brought mine in. You know, I'll use this and I'll take it back home, put it in the Lista whenever I get through with it today. But I also brought these in just for fun. I might use these also just to kind of compare. It's not a precision measurement, so we're not really worried about, you know, hitting a direct target. These are the 36-inch veneers that were my dad's. You can see right here, Booth Machine Shop. All right, so those are our weapons of choice today. So what I want is a 27 to 28 range of measurement there. So I'm setting this up to start at 27. And we'll start with this piece right here. So this is the number 124C, and then we're going to use this extension right here, and it's marked on here 26 to 32. And we're also going to use the 1-inch spacer. So this right here will make it to 27. So we slide that on right here, and then we're going to slide this up inside there all the way till it seats, and then tighten the collet down. And then we're going to use this extension here, and this screws into the end. And I got my 36-inch scale up here to verify it. It is at 27 inches down there. All right. You want to get that thing where it just touches. You don't want it tight, and you don't want to force it out of there. You want to get where it just touches. Rock it back and forth until you get just a little bit of friction on it, but you can still pull it right on out of there. Perfect. I'm right where I want to be. So here's something fun you can do to kind of check and see how close your measuring tools are. Now, these have not been calibrated. I don't know if they've ever been calibrated or certified, and neither have my calipers here, these veneers. But you know, you assume that they're going to be very, very close, hopefully within 1 or 2 thousandths anyway. So I just did that measurement, and actually what I was getting was right here on the reader, 309 thousandths, so 27 inches, 309 thousandths. I've got the veneer set to 27 inches, 309 on the veneer scale. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to mic it. So let's go ahead and close it up some. And I don't know if you can see it on video or not. I'm going to hold this end down here with my left hand, and I'm going to work this in with my right hand. All right, getting a little bit of friction right there. I don't know if you can see it on video or not. Looks like we're maybe a half thou under. So, you know, this may be a half thou under, this may be off, this may be off. But what this is doing is telling me that I'm very, very close to being where I need to be as far as what I'm wanting to measure and what I'm measuring. I don't have to worry about this measurement being off quite a bit because I'm trusting my veneer calipers there. Okay. So just something fun that I'm doing right here, and I try to capture whatever I can on video for you guys. So I'm taking this out to 27.5 inches. I think I've got one more cut. Well, I know I got one more cut to make. I just want to see where I'm at. All right, that's a good feel right there. So 373. Actually, I got two more cuts. I'm sorry. I'm taking a 16th at a time, so that gives me two more cuts to take at 373. So we're 27 and 3/8. All right, I just made my last cut. I want to measure it and see where I ended up at. And again, it's not because I need to hit it within a certain tolerance. I was just shooting for a number, which is 27.5. I want to see where I got it. All right, that feels pretty good right there. It looks like I'm one thou over on the mic. Good to go. All right, this one's done. I'm going to dress the corners. It's got a sharp burr on the back side there. I'm just going to do all that with hand grinders. So it's time to take this one out, and I got one more to do. This is the second stand set up, getting everything clamped up just like I was before. I thought I would just show you this. I've already got her indicated in, but this is how I do it. Use the indicator just attached to the faceplate here, and I'm just sweeping it in and getting it side to side equalized and up and down equalized. You do get a little bit of indicator sag this way. You just compensate it by about 10 thousandths. On flame cut bore right here, that's not precision. It's not too critical, but I'll show you. I just put it down in low gear, use a wide radius tip on the end of the indicator, and I work side to side and get it within about 10 thousandths, and then top to bottom same way, which I've already done. And before I sweep the center of the hole, I actually move the indicator to the outside and side to side. I want side to side really close. I have that 10 thousandths, top to bottom's out because it's leaning a little bit. But like I said before, we're living with that because this is just a big clearance through hole. All right, we got both of the stands finished up. This is the second one here. Got her opened up like it needs to be. Deburred, cleaned up, ready to go. And then the other one's right here. And it's ready to go as well. That was a pretty interesting job, pretty interesting project, and hope you guys enjoyed following along, watching that one be done. It's nice having that Kearns boring mill. It's a really universal machine that can do a lot of different operations. And whenever this come up, that was really my first thought was, instead of taking a torch to it and making it really a mess of the job, take a little bit more time, set it in the bore mill and bore it out since we had the capability. So that's what we did.